Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Hi, my name is Carly Bell, and I love everything machine embroidery, and I love doing tutorials. However, most of my tutorials can be done in the hour or two. It's never an hour, it's always two, hour and a half, 2 hours of my live video tutorials. Most of the projects that we do can be done in that amount of time. And I like those kinds of projects because then I'm like, I have accomplished something. I have a finished product to walk away with. However, larger projects like what we're going to start on today intimidate me because I know they're going to take a long time. I'm not going to finish it in an hour or two. I'm not going to finish it today. But I thought it would be really fun for those of y'all that are like me and are intimidated by these large, multiple hooping machine embroidery projects that we could do them together and encourage each other and hold each other accountable. Well, y'all definitely hold me accountable that I am ready for our next lesson. So we are starting a new sew along series. It will be every Thursday starting today, which I don't even know what day it is. It is March 13th, 2025. Every Thursday, I will go live at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You can figure out if you're in a different time zone. Um, and we will start on this large project that I'm very excited about. And it is a company that I love. I went down this rabbit hole years ago and started collecting all their stuff, yet I have yet to actually make anything large from them, even though I own a bunch of their stuff. So this is the new sew along that we will be working on together. It is called the Oh So Delightful quilt from Kimberbell, and it is what they call a large featured quilt, but it's more of a wall hanging. This is not something that we're going to put on our sofa and use to cover up with. I think the overall size is 26 inches wide and 36 inches tall. And you can see some cute little other things happening around the quilt. These are the bonus projects that come with the purchase of this kit here. And that's what we're going to be working on. So I'm very excited. I know there, and people have told me, they're like, I already own this and I still haven't made it. Go get it out the closet. Go get it out the drawer. Now, if you don't own this and you're interested, I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I bought. And all of these videos, even though we're doing it live now, they're going to be recorded. So you can come back and watch them whenever it's convenient for you. Because I know a lot of people are working and they can't watch right now, or they may not have all the supplies yet. You can come back and watch these. I'm going to make a playlist, so they're super easy to find. And you can click them and they'll all be in a row. And also I will have post on my website, carlybell.com, where you can find everything related to this sew along. So if you're too busy right now, got too much going on, maybe wait till the summertime, you can always refer back to everything that we're doing now. So hello, somebody take a minute to say hi to everyone in the chat. I see Marina, she's like, I am very overwhelmed when I received all the stuff. Need my hand held for this one for sure. I am here. I am virtually holding your hand, Marina, and I need you to hold mine back because I am also a little bit overwhelmed. All right, read this. I am obsessed with Kimberbell. I love everything. My only complaint is my wallet doesn't love Kimberbell as much as I do because it's hurting from all the things that I bought. But I'm gonna tell you some ways that I saved money and pass that on to you. So hopefully that you can save money in the future with these, because I have a new place that I stock every week now for things like this. And I'm gonna tell you about it. Okay. Hi, Alexandra from Indiana. So glad you're here. Hey, Sherry, how are you? Sherry, say Sherry. Let's see who else is here. Teresa is very happy I'm doing this. I'm so glad you're happy. I'm excited. I'm finally going to make something big. Let me tell you a little story. The first featured quilt that I bought, and I was like immediate, like this was like when they first released it. I was obsessed with it. I thought it was the cutest thing ever. I'm like, okay, I am making this. It is still all in this container. I made a box of all the stuff. But this was the first quilt I bought. It's called Spring Showers. Obsessed with it. I got it and I was like, okay, I'm just going to make one block at a time. It's going to be fine. I made like 4 blocks, and here it sits. But I think I'm approaching this project here differently than I did this one. And so I think I'm going to take what I learned from doing this one and I'm going to work on Spring Showers later. So that's one I bought. I actually started it, never finished. Then a while back, I bought their Halloween themed quilt, and I haven't even touched it. That's all just sitting in a box. But this one, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. Yay, Sherry! I met at Everything Embroidery Market last year. Yay! I'm glad you're here. Okay. Ooh, Roberta's like, I would love for you to do Cup of Cheer. Okay, I don't have that one, but I can get it. now that I've gotten over the sticker shock. So someone posted when I showed that I was doing this, someone posted that is way too expensive. If you have that reaction, I understand. I had the same exact reaction. And it is a sticker shock because when I first jumped into Spring Showers, I just bought the little book with the CD with the designs. I thought that was all I needed. No, it is not all you need. And I'm going to go into it. And that's why I think I stopped that one, because it got overwhelming with all the things that you need to go with it. So let's start there. Let's talk about Kimberbell, their featured quilts, what else you need besides the designs. Okay. When I bought my first quilt, got this, didn't know it doesn't come with what they call background quilting. And if you look closely at the pictures on your book, and let's see if I can show this. Let's see, maybe like this yellow one. Sorry if it's not clear, but you see that yellow one there, and you see how it has the little hearts quilting on it? That's called background quilting. Let's see one where you can see it. They're hard to see on some of the pictures, but each one of these blocks behind whatever the featured applique or design is, and then these are called filler blocks. These just have quilting. You could see it on these little strips here. You see they look like little needles and pins. That's a background quilting design. So each block has a background quilting design, and the way that they do it is each one's a little bit different. I think they may have 5 or 6 overall for the theme of this quilt. Those don't come with the booklet. The booklet is only going to give you what you see that's big in each block, like the scissors, the So Happy, the pin cushion, this flying geese, the thread, the iron, all of these. That's going to be the main designs of that's going to be included on the CD in this book. So lots of people, I was very confused when I bought this because I got a digital download and I thought, oh, I won't even need the CD. I was wrong. The digital download was something else. So with this project, it's a physical item. You get shipped in the mail, no matter where you buy it from. And you will get this beautiful instruction booklet with telling you everything about each of the steps of the quilt. And you will receive a CD, which has all of the embroidery designs on there and some extra printable instructions that are not in this book. So you will need a CD drive. My laptop doesn't have a CD drive, but way back in the day, I did buy an external CD reader for my laptop. So I so happen to have one because CDs weren't obsolete back in, I think, 2012 when I got my Apple laptop. But now people, if all the computers don't come with CD drives and no one thinks, oh, I'm not going to need it, it's no big deal, and now you need one. They make inexpensive external CD drives that you can buy, and I have a link to one on my website. So I think it was like $16, so not bad. And especially if you get into Kimberbell, a lot of their now what's going to be considered older projects are going to be available by a CD. They did make an announcement though the other day that they are switching to digital. So no longer will it be USBs and CDs. Everything will be a digital download on their website. I don't know if they're going to make all their older projects like that as well, or the ones that are already done will still ship CDs. So I didn't get all the details, but I know they are switching to digital, which I am thankful for, but I know some people prefer this method. So I hope it goes well for everybody. Here's a picture. Do you see you could kind of see the quilting here and here behind the spools of thread. That's more of that background quilting. So background quilting does not come with this. Okay. That is going to be an extra purchase. Then they have some optional things that you can get as well, and that is a fabric kit, so that you will get all of the same fabrics that are pictured here within the book. If you love the way this looks and you love all the fabrics, you can get a fabric kit. And that's something I did not get with my first quilt, and I learned that that was very overwhelming for me. So let me go back to my other thing. All right. So I'm trying to keep this where everything makes sense and kind of stay on track. So with this project, I'm going to tell you the things that you need to have. And I would say this is the main thing you need to have. And I'm going to tell you everything else that's optional and then ways that you can save money. So these booklets by themselves, I think, run around $70 for the booklet with all the CDs. Sometimes they may go down to $60, but it's somewhere in that range. So that right there, if we could just buy that, that would be nice. However, Kimberbell's website, there is something called the Deal of the Week. And every Monday, they update this, I think at 10 a.m. Mountain Time is when they update it. So look on Monday afternoon and see what's new. About a month ago, this was the Deal of the Week. And what it consisted of was the booklet with the CD with all the designs, all of the background quilting designs, and then something I haven't mentioned yet is called the Embellishment Kit. And this is going to have all of the little 3D notions that I think make these quilts really cute and stand out. This is an embellishment kit. That Deal of the Week was $99, and it came with all three things: the designs, the background quilting, and the embellishment kit. To me, that is a good deal. So I jumped on it. I bought it right away. And then I was like, the only way I'm going to make it is if I need y'all to hold me accountable. So hence the new video series. Okay. Now, for those of you that missed that deal, it's okay. I would personally keep stalking the Kimberbell Deal of the Week. In fact, I looked for this week. I think I'm going to buy. They have I think it's like the tabletopper cuties, where it's got like one for each month. And it's seasonal. Those are on sale, and those are just a digital download. And I think it's on sale for like $30. I think I'm going to get that, but I haven't clicked the button yet. So we'll see. But just keep watching that Deal of the Week. That is also where I got the Halloween quilt I told you about that I have everything for and haven't touched. That was a Deal of the Week. It came with the book, the background quilting designs, the embellishment kit, and it came with project batting. And that was all, I think, $99. So just keep watching that Deal of the Week. Not every week will they have a good quilt bundle like that. But when they do, I would grab it personally if it's one that you see yourself wanting to make. And then even though this sew along may not be that same quilt, you can still learn a lot from it, especially what we're going to do today, which is the prep work. All right. So yay, the embellishment really adds to the overall project. I think so too. I did buy the embellishment kit for spring shower. So I would say if you had to purchase, it depends on what's in the embellishment kit too, because a lot of it might be stuff you already have in your craft room. So look at the particulars of what's in the embellishment kit. If it's mostly felt and glitter and maybe like twine and buttons, you might have all that in your craft room and don't need it. There's just sometimes there's really cute little extra things that may be worth it, or you can just try and go find those extra things on your own at a local craft store, quilt shop, or Amazon. Amazon has everything. All right, so let me try to keep my thoughts straight. So mainly need this. Let's talk about the background quilting now. So the deal that I got came with all of them, and you can go and buy the package of all of them on Kimberbell's website. However, they do also sell them individually. I thought there was a picture in here of them. I can't find it. No. So on Kimberbell's website, if you go and search, let's do it together so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna show you my computer for a second. Oop. Okay, here's Kimberbell's website. First, let me show you my website. Okay, so if you go to carlybell.com, where did I put it yet? No, I haven't put it yet. I'm gonna make a spot where it says sew alongs, and so it will be easy to find in the menu up here. But I haven't done that yet. So for now, scroll, scroll, scroll until you see my recent posts, and you'll see the Oh So Delightful sew along, and click on that. That is going to be your information guide for everything we talk about today and with this project. It's going to have, so I'll tell you about the live class video schedule, and I even have today's video on there, and then the supplies. So this is where everything is. This is the booklet with the CD. I have it for Kimberbell, and it's also available on Amazon. The background quilting design. So let's talk about that. Maybe I just click. No, let me do this. So if you go to Kimberbell, you can click on the link I had there. But let's go to shop, and then right here, background quilting, and then by project. So then you can quickly see the Oh So Delightful, and then look for it here. Oh So Delightful. Okay, here are all the quilting designs that they have for this quilt. So you could purchase the bundle with all of them for $60. Okay. But you don't have to have all of these. And I had someone email me about this recently, and I'm gonna tell you what I did for spring showers, because I think spring showers had even more background quilting designs. You don't have to have them all, but you can buy just one or two. So to save money, if you want to do this project now and you don't want to spend $60 on background quilting, personally, I would get this one to do for the background for all the major, all the quilt blocks. Or if you already have some background quilting designs from other previous projects, I would say use the Kimberbell ones, because they are made to where they fit the batting in without being in the seam allowance, and you can pick the block size. So I would personally say I would use Kimberbell. If you have any Kimberbell background quilting project, because I mean, it doesn't read, the stars, the lines, even geometric shapes, anything's good with this. But I think this particular one, which is called Hobby 6, and you see it has the scissors and the thread and the pin cushion, I think that really goes with the theme of the quilt. So I would just buy this one, and I would also buy the border, because I think the little ruler for the sashing and the cute So Happy design for the outer border really make the quilt stand out when you're looking at it. And you see that's that ruler border. and on the yellow it looks really good. And then it's hard to see the So Happy on the darker fabric here, but it's really pretty. So to save money, I would just purchase two, this one and do all my blocks with this background, and then have this for my borders and my the skinny border and the bigger border. All right. I hate ads. I need to figure out how to take those off my website. Okay, so that's the background quilting. We talked about the embellishment kit. Let's go back here. So the embellishment kit, I would say, is another optional thing. I'll show you what comes with this one and what you might probably already have in your craft room. Okay. Oh, it tells you what's in it. So for the scissors block, are y'all looking at what I'm looking at? Okay, good. Let me go back to here so I could see comments. All right, cute little flowered pins. You can use any kind of pins, but these are super cute. They have little bits of twine and ribbon. That might be something you have in your room already. This is yellow ribbon. You can draw on there with a Sharpie. These are just simple safety pins, and these are called with braids. You should be able to find this. This is like to go, that could go through loose leaf paper and spread like prongs. You should be able to find something like that at a craft store, or even maybe at Walmart in the office section. And then here's just one big needle. These are buttons, which you can also probably find. These are cute little chipboard things to wrap the twine in. This may be something you can find, or you can even cut out yourself, especially if you have like a scan and cut, silhouette, Cricut. You could cut those out. This might be the only thing that would be hard to find. These are little wool strawberries. I love all the wool accents on Kimberbell quilts. My Spring Showers has some cute little wool bees. I think you can buy those separately, though. I know the bees are available on Kimberbell's website, so you can look for strawberries. Other things, we have some red velvet. That's going to be for the pin cushion. We got some, this is glitter, black glitter. This is just like heat transfer vinyl glitter. I have a ton of this already in my craft room, but glitter. This is for, I think this is for one of the bonus projects, but it's like a mesh, a nylon mesh. This is a faux leather that looks like wood grain. This is just some pretty felt. This is black faux leather, or they call it embroidery vinyl, embroidery leather. We have a clear piece of vinyl. I think this is for one of the bonus projects too, if I'm not mistaken. A white piece of felt, more clear vinyl. And then this you can buy is the velour velvet, the red velvet. So that's everything in the embellishment kit. So if you didn't get the deal, I think this kit costs $50. Personally, I wouldn't buy the kit if I had to pay $50 alone for it. I would probably go find most of these things in my craft room and just purchase maybe what I don't have. I think you could really save money doing that. But I have a lot of things in my craft room. If you're just getting started and don't have a collection, then this may be worth it, because then to go buy all the individual things, you might end up spending close to $50. I'm not sure. So that is the embellishment kit. So those are all the things that, oh no, there's one more thing. So we talked about the quilt, the background quilting, the embellishment kit. Kimberbell, those are all Kimberbell brand sells those things. There's two more things that are Kimberbell brand that are optional. I mentioned the fabric kit. Now, I have a ton of fabric in my craft room. I have no business buying more fabric, but we all have that same problem. And when I saw the fabric that was on this quilt already, I loved it. And I knew exactly what I was going to do if I didn't buy the fabric kit. I was going to go through my room and probably find maybe 3 or 4, maybe more than that, that were close to what was on here that I could use. And then I would end up going to the fabric store and buying ones similar, the ones that I didn't have in my craft room that were as close to this as possible. Because that's what I did with the spring showers quilt. I didn't buy the fabric kit, tried to use what was in my room. I still ended up going to the fabric store and buying a lot. So I got some options for you though, because I found another website. But I know myself, and I know that I would not even start this project anytime soon if I had to go and pick out all the fabrics myself. I'm not good at coordinating fabrics. I like that I can see this and I'm like, this all really goes together really well. And it looks, I want this. This is what I want for my finished project. Some of y'all are really good at coordinating fabrics and picking out things that flow, especially if you're a quilt maker. I am not to that level yet. I hope to be one day, but I know I'm not going to do this. And if I do it, it's going to take me forever. So I broke down. I bought the fabric kit. I found it on Etsy. Uh, it wasn't on Kimberbell's website. It wasn't on Amazon, but there are quilt shops that have Etsy pages. And some quilt shops really specialize, I would say, in um, selling Kimberbell products. And so I found lots of Kimberbell things on Etsy, but this Etsy store is, and this is a quilt shop in Colorado I found. So that's where I bought the fabric kit. Now, the fabric kit, and I broke it all down because someone emailed me and asked me if it was worth it. Um, it's, it is, but it isn't at the same time. So I, I looked it all up. It's a little, was it a little more than 4 yards or a little under 5 yards? It's between 4 and 5 yards. I can't remember what number it was closest to. As far as if you add it all up, the amount of fabric you get. The price was, I think, $80, $79. So if you break down, say we give them the benefit of the doubt and it's closer to 5 yards, that is still $16 a yard. Some of this fabric I would say is more the nice quilting fabric is expensive. I know that, but I would say it's closer to like $12 a yard, right? So, but it comes with everything you need. And you are going to have leftovers, not a ton though. And I'll show you, for instance, like this one. Let's see if I remember how many it came with. It comes with a lot of what they call a fat 16th. And so here's one of them. And I only need this piece for my quilt. So all of this is left over for me to save and add to my stash. So I'm going to have leftovers, and I'm hoping that I'll probably get to use some of it on my spring showers quilt that I didn't buy the fabric kit for, because a lot of this is all, I think, in the Kimberbell umbrella of fabrics, if I'm not mistaken. So let me try to remember. I don't remember how many it comes with, but let me tell you about the way it's organized. It comes with a lot of what they call fat 16ths, and your book will actually tell you. In your booklet, it's beautiful because it shows you fabric requirements, and they have 4, no, they got more than that, but they have fabric scraps, which are these little, I think, 5 by 5 squares. They have fat 16ths, which are 9 by 11. They have fat 8s, which are over here. These are 9 by 21. There's a fat quarter. There is, then where it is, we have like 1/3 of a yard of this fabric, a half a yard of this fabric. This might be a half a yard too. And then this is like 7/8 of a yard. This is going to be the backing. So it comes with the backing, your binding, your borders, everything you need to finish it. So now on to my next idea for those of y'all that don't want to spend $80 on a fabric kit, but there's some fabrics that really catch your eye and you like. So say, you can substitute stuff you have in your room for, um, several of these, but maybe some of these floral patterns you really like. I found a website that sells the individual ones, and when I look at it, I'm like, that's not expensive at all. But when if I add it up and I start be like, well, I want this one, I want this one, or this one, I could see where it will add up to be $80 quickly. What was the website? I think it was, My Crafty. Yeah, this was it. Okay, let me show you my computer desktop. Okay. Thread is something I'm going to get to after. I came upon this website because I was looking for some certain thread colors. And I just so happened, I'm like, well, since I'm buying some thread, let me see what else they have. So, if I'm going to pay shipping, I might as well get some more stuff out of it. And this website had fabric. Let me do this. Okay. They have a fabric tab. And when I started scrolling, I was like, I don't see nothing I like. I did buy some of this. I just like it. It's a white on white, and I'm looking for that kind of stuff to make a quilt. Like a no embroidery, just make a quilt, piece it together. And I wanted some pretty white on white kind of pattern fabric. So I bought this, but I was looking and looking. I'm like, here's a bunch of solids. I'm like, okay. And then I get to this page, and where am I? Keep scrolling. I was like, oh, this looks familiar. And then I was like, oh, that looks really familiar. And then I'm like, this is literally all of the fabrics in my fabric kit. And they're all $3.50 for a half of a yard. So like I was saying, for some of these fabrics, I only needed one little square. So there are tons of them that I don't need a half a yard for. But if you see one in the kit and you can see all the fabrics in your booklet, and you see some like, I really do like these, you can just go buy a half a yard of each of these. The only thing, like, I think this is the one that is the backing, and we need almost a full yard. When I say quantity 2, it says it's sold in half yard increments. So they're not going to give me one continuous yard. I think they're going to give me 2 half yard pieces. So I'll let you know when I get that white on white one that I ordered, because I did order 1 yard. I'll let you know if it comes in 2 pieces or not. This may be where we can contact them and ask them, is it possible to get this as 1 continuous yard if you just want that for your backing? But this is what I wanted to show you. If you don't want to buy the whole fabric kit, but you just want to get a couple pieces for only $3.50 for a half a yard, you can come and get them. Now, another thing is, if you want all of them, when you add it up, it'll probably be more than $80, but you'll have a ton more fabric if you really like this fabric, because you get a half a yard, where a lot of the fabrics in the kit, you only get a fat 16th. So that's a lot more fabric. So I wanted to share that with you. If you are on the cusp, of ordering fabric, not so sure what you want to get, there are options. You can get the full fabric kit. You can go pick and choose the fabrics that are in the kit and just order a half yard at a time, or just use everything that you have in your craft room. I really would love to see that someone that's good with coordinating fabrics to make this quilt in like a totally different color scheme, like in maybe like more pastel-y colors, or just something different than what is there, because I could see that in my head, but I probably wouldn't be able to pick it out. if that makes sense. Now, I went the extra yard because like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I bought the fabric kit that also came with all the fabric for the bonus projects. So the $80 kit that I bought, that I show you, I think on the Etsy shop, when you you pick what you want to buy, you can buy the fabric kit for just the quilt, and that is $80. And then you can buy the fabric kit for just the cute little, this one I think is my favorite. I love all the mini quilts. So this is the spools of thread, and then they have scissors, and they have this one. You can just go buy the fabric kit for this mini quilt. You can go buy the fabric kit just for this mini quilt. They have those options on that Etsy shop I told you all about, or you can buy all the bonus projects and the quilt. And of course, that's what I did because I told y'all I got over the sticker shock part. It took me like 2 years, but I finally got over it. I'm like, I want to make this. So that was fabric. The last thing that Kimberbell offers as a kit that is optional is thread. So in your book, they have all the thread colors, right? And they're just general colors: red, teal, tan, mint, yellow, light green, dark pink. They also sell a thread kit. I want to say that costs around $60-ish. And that's where I finally draw the line. And I was like, I don't need more thread. I got enough thread. But I found a Etsy shop that sells the thread kit. It wasn't the same one, the Colorado one that I bought the fabric from. They didn't have the thread kit, but another quilt shop, Etsy shop, had it. And they listed all the colors. They're all glide thread, and they listed the numbers and the colors. So I had a reference. So I used that reference to pick out thread colors, and I used, I'll share with you on the blog post I make for this video, the websites that I use to, convert the colors over to Exquisite brand thread, because that's mostly what I have. I actually have a couple glide threads, and they matched close enough to what they used in the thread kit. The only two colors that I could not find a conversion for or a match or anything was the two pinks. It's a dark pink and a light pink. The glide color numbers names are Taffy and Bubblegum. And I looked at pictures online, but every picture I looked at, they look like a different shade of pink, and it was hard to tell. So I picked out two pinks, but on my search for those threads, I found that Oh So Crafty website I just showed you, where the fabric was. They sell the thread. So that's what brought me to their website. That's where I just went ahead and bought the two pinks because I was curious, and I can always use more different shades of pink thread, because sometimes when I'm trying to match things, it gets tricky. So I was like, I can buy two spools of thread. So I bought those two, and then that's where I discovered all the fabric. Glide thread is excellent. It comes with, I should go dig through all of my perfectly pieced boxes. I bet you I have those colors already. I need to take the thread out of those boxes. I like to keep everything in place. But my perfectly pieced subscription, which I don't get anymore, and I'm so tempted to get it again because I just saw the April one. So cute. Was it March or April? It's carrots. It's Easter themed. I'm not getting it anymore. I'm trying to control myself. But they all come with a glide thread in the box every month. So I have a collection I probably should pull out. But I pulled colors that were close enough to the thread kit. All right, that is it. That is everything that Kimberbell has under their brand of things that they sell for this project. Everything else is going to be stuff you probably already have in your craft room, or you can go and buy, through whoever you like to buy things, whether it be Amazon or your local quilt shop, or if you have a craft store like Hobby Lobby or something that you can buy some of these things at. All right, any questions? Let me pause for a minute because I haven't looked at the chat. And I apologize if you've already wrote a question, and I have not seen it. So retype it if you don't mind, or copy and paste it again on the chat. So now let's take a moment to take any questions on those things I just talked about. The booklet with the designs, the background quilting designs, the embellishment kit, the fabric kit, the thread kit. If you have any questions about those 5 things, go ahead and put it in the chat. I see Marina's talking about stabilizers. That's going to be next. I will talk about that as soon as we finish these 5 things. So Retha likes the fabric kit. She says they're usually generous with fabric pieces. From what the little bit of cutting I've seen so far, I'm going to have a lot of this left over. I got the cream. I only cut 4 pieces so far. We're going to get into this as well. And I apologize if this video ends up being really long. But I am I'm a systematic person. I like to plan, even though I'm terrible at it sometimes. But just learning from trying to jump into spring showers and how I felt like a failure after that, like it was just like, I was really gung ho about doing this project, and I'm like, I'm going to do it right. And I did a lot of research because that's the way my brain works. I research everything. And I was like, there is a system to this. There is, it's very planning and trying to get it done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So I really got into it. And I'm hoping that helps inspire you. If you think I go way over the top, by all means, just ignore all of this part and you go about it as you feel the most comfortable. But I wanted to share with you all the stuff that I'm learning preparing for this project. All right. Okay, so Roberta's saying she's already cut everything for the project and she has a lot left over. Great. All right, so I don't see any questions about any of those 5 things we talked about. So next, let's talk about what Marina mentioned, stabilizers. Kimberbell recommends that you use a no-show poly mesh stabilizer for their blocks. And, as y'all know, everything we do with this quilt is all in the hoop, all in the embroidery machine. Each block you see is done on the embroidery machine. Now, once all the blocks are made, then yes, we're going to need our sewing machine to put it all together. But all the prettiness that you see is on the sewing machine. On the embroidery machine. So you are going to need to hoop stabilizer for each one of these things. And like I said, poly mesh, no show, cutaway stabilizer is what they recommend and what I've used in the past. However, I got a recommendation from one of my VIP members, and after doing a ton of research for this project, something else that people use to save money is, instead of using poly mesh, they use lightweight cotton muslin fabric. So I bought, I think, 5 yards. I probably could have just went with the 2 yard, but I bought a package of this on Amazon. And this is what I'm going to be using as stabilizer. And I'm going to show you some things that I learned in my research to help even reduce the amount of this that we use. So if you're not using this and you're using poly mesh, I still have some methods for you to help save on stabilizer. And I'm going to show you all of that as we get into the project. But what I did Quilt Fest on Tuesday. Where did I put that? I did a project on Quilt Fest. I don't know where I put it when I finished it. But I did 4 quilt blocks on my big 9x9 hoop for a class I taught on Quilt Fest, and I used this as the stabilizer, and I stitched the 4 quilt blocks. So I think it's going to work well, and this, I think, will save you a lot of money on stabilizer, because I know no show poly mesh is not the cheapest stabilizer. I don't remember where I put it. I started cleaning my crafter room, but it needs a lot more work. I know it's going to be somewhere obvious, and I just don't see it. Is it here? Yes, here it is. My box that I keep all of my teaching projects in. So this is the muslin, and I got this upside down. This is what I hooped, just this. And then I stitched the blocks on top of it. All right, now that's stabilizer. Next thing is batting. And with the Kimberbell block by block quilting, that's going to be in your background quilting designs that either you bought that bundle or you just buy one or two of them. There are going to be stitch lines, steps in that are going to show you where to put your batting and then where to put your background fabric. Those are the first 4 steps of the design. Is going to be step 1 is placement of batting. Step 2 is tack down of batting. Then you trim it just like an applique. Step 3 is going to be placement of background fabric. Step 4 is going to be tack down of background fabric, and then everything progresses from there. So batting is something else that you're going to need. And I cut all of the batting that I had around the quilt I made for my nephew when it was all done, and I trimmed it. This was like the strips of batting that were along the sides. I'm like, this may work out perfectly to fill my quilt blocks with. So I have a collection of batting scraps here, and then I got a whole package of batting to cut up if I need to. So let's talk about that while we're at this step. I have a free download for everyone that you can go get to help you with going through the process of this quilt. Stuff like this helps me. So I thought, well, I'm going to make it for myself. Might as well share with all of you. And one of the things, so on here, on this free printable, it's on my website under that same place where I showed you where the supplies are. If you keep scrolling down, I think it's at the bottom. You just put in your name and your email, and then it will automatically email you this printable. And you could just print it out and keep it, as you're doing this project. You can write notes on it, whatever you want to do. So it has the design name. It tells you what background quilting, if you have the whole bundle of background quilting designs, it tells you which one to use. What page number in the book that the instructions are for that particular block. The batting size. So for instance, the first scissors block. When you're done with the block, the overall block will be 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. But when you sew it, that's with the seam allowance, right? When you sew it, the final block is 4 by 4. So you have 2 options with the batting. You can cut it to where it is already the size of the final block, which in this case would be 4 by 4. This is going to help save you a step on your embroidery machine stitching, and it's going to save you from having to trim the batting for every single block. So instead of treating it like an applique where you make it bigger and then you tack it down and you trim it, you could just cut it to where it is 4 inches by 4 inches and just place it right there in your placement stitch line. Line it up, make sure it's in the right spot, and then move on and skip that tack down step, skip that trim step. With that, though, we are going to need, I don't know where some temporary spray adhesive to kind of make sure things stay into place. So on my guide, I have the batting size as what's going to be the final block size. But all the way on the back, there is a batting cut guide. Let me hold it over here so you can maybe see it better. Okay, so here's the batting cut guide. And I gave you 2 options for those that want to do it the other way. If it's cut to size, that means you're not going to do that tack down step and you're not going to do that trimming step. You're going to have it already cut to the final block size and use spray adhesive to put it into place. This is going to tell you you need, of 2 by 2 blocks, you need 10. 2 by 4 blocks, you only need 1. 4 by 4, you need 13, and so on. If you prefer the method of tacking it down and trimming it so that you know it's just right, I would cut the batting to be 1 inch bigger. So instead of cutting it to be 2 by 2, cut it to be 3 by 3. 3 by 5, 5 by 5, 5 by 7, and so on. And so it tells you the size and it tells you how many you need. So this side is for the people that want to trim, and this side is for the people that want to skip trimming and just use spray adhesive. So that is the last page on the free printable. And then for this column here, this tells you the batting size if it's the you're not trimming. If you can also consider it, this is your final block size. This is what it's going to be after you sew it together. So it serves two purposes. This is your final cut size, where your cut size needs to take into consideration your seam allowance. So that's going to tell you what size you're going to cut the block at when it's done. This is going to tell you what background fabric to use. If you're using your fabric kit, it's labeled in your book as F21, which is this light pink with the herringbone pattern on it. But I also went ahead and just put light pink so you can have it as a quick reference so you know what fabric it is, or fabric but trying to use kind of the same color scheme, you can go off of that. Does this block have an embellishment? Yes, it has the little mini braid, the pink one. And then this is what color thread I'm going to use for the background quilting on this design. So it has a light pink background fabric. I'm going to use a light pink thread and quilt this design on it. So I think this will be super helpful as we're going through the design, where I can just be like, okay, this is the one I'm doing. I got everything I need and ready to go. So you can go download this for free on my website now. And also, when you do that, it's going to put you on the special email list for this project. So if anything comes up, or I just want to send out like an email reminder saying, don't forget, our next class is tomorrow, here's the link for it, or any new things that as we discuss in class that I feel like I should email to y'all will get those emails. It will be, specific to the people that are actually interested in this project. Okay, so we talked about stabilizer. We talked about batting. Let's go down the supply list and see. Okay, so next, since we talked about fabric and stabilizer, let's talk about what they recommend and what I've learned is great to help with your background fabric and quilting and prevention of puckering. Quilting really helps hide puckering, but something that I've learned that is super helpful to get your quilt to look really nice is adding a fusible stabilizer on the back of your background fabric. So for instance, I had some cut already. All right, so this is a block. This is a piece for a block somewhere. I don't remember where. So I cut it. I think the size was 3 by 5.5, which is bigger than what you need. But they recommend you iron on the back of it. Kimberbell has their own brand of it. It's called fusible backing. But from my understanding, Pellon SF101 Shape Flex, long name. Some people just call it Shape Flex. Some people call it SF101. That is equivalent to Kimberbell's fusible backing, and I think less expensive. And that is super helpful to iron on the back of your background fabric pieces to help everything stay crisp and looking nice. So back when I was doing spring showers, and it sucks now because I think it was Joanne I bought it from. They had a sale, and I went ahead and bought a bolt of the Pellon. Here's what the label looks like so you can see. I don't know if it's, there we go, Shape Flex. It might even have been Walmart, if I'm thinking correctly. So I will look and see who has the best price as of, right now. If you want to go ahead and invest in this, this was 15 yards. So this will last me a long time and several quilts. So if you see yourself doing more of these like me, which I hope we finish all of them, this might be a good investment for you. You can also buy, you know, just like 1 or 2 yards. If your quilt shop sells it by the bolt, you can just go and buy a yard. And then I think places like Hobby Lobby sell pre-cut pieces. Walmart, I think, sells it as well, and then Amazon. So this is something that I highly recommend, and we're going to use it on the back of pretty much every piece of fabric for this project, with the exception of, I think, the binding and the backing. But everything else, I'm going to use it. Now, this project has several pieces of applique. There's actually less applique than I thought, though, because like when I first looked at the picture, I assumed the different colors in the spools of thread was applique, but it's not. That's pieced together. So the applique is the pin cushion, the iron, the dress form, and the sewing machine. So it's not a lot. But traditionally, I use Heat and Bond Light on the back of my applique pieces. So we're going to play around with it, because I'm going to put Shape Flex on the back of all these pieces. And I may not need Heat and Bond line. Now, Shape Flex is not fusible on the other side. It just kind of gives the fabric more stability, and makes it not stiff, but stiffer. The drape is less. But I'm not sure if Heat and Bond Light is going to be super required for this project. So I'm going to play that by ear. We might do one and see how it goes, and maybe leave it off for others. I don't know. We'll play around with it. But if you have Heat and Bond Light in your craft room, maybe put it in your stash that you're making for this project in case we do use it. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so I see, Teresa, what is the muslin again? So the muslin is cotton, lightweight muslin. I got the unbleached one. I bought it on Amazon. I have a link to it in that supply list here on my website. So there's the batting, there's the fabric stabilizer. They recommend no show, but a lot of people use this lightweight muslin, and I got it on Amazon. And so you can buy just 2 yards for $13. I think that would be enough, but I went ahead and bought 5 just to have extra, and I know I'll use it again in the future. It comes in natural and bleached, or you can buy 10 yards if you want to. Let's see. And I need to go add the link to that Oh My Crafty site that sells the individual pieces of fabric. This is the Pellon SF101. This is the Kimberbell brand of it, Heat and Bond Light. Okay, we talked about spray adhesive. All right, now let's talk about all of these other random things. Okay, so invisible thread. I bought this. I got this as a recommendation for when we are piecing the quilt together when we're done. And no, the quilt is done. It's pieced together. We're adding the back onto it. So since this project is not done like a traditional quilt where you make your quilt sandwich and then you do all your stitching, we want to do all our stitching with the front fabric and the batting first, and then add the backing after. So you're not going to see the quilting on the back. And since this is more, I'm going to treat this as a wall hanging. The back doesn't that much to me. But to attach it, we're going to do the stitch and the ditch method. And someone recommended using invisible clear thread for that, so that if you go off and you don't get in there, you know, just right, it won't be noticeable. So I love this idea. This will be the first time I'm doing this. I've done stitch in the ditch before, and it came out okay. But this will definitely make sure it comes out good. So invisible thread. The next thing on my list I had was a Kimberbell product that's supposed to be helpful for these kinds of projects, with cutting out the blocks when we're done. So I have an example because I made this. This is one of the, oh wait, let me take that off. Okay. This is one of the, well, actually 2. of the blocks for spring showers that I actually made and finished, but I never cut them out. So when you're done, you see that line there? That was your tack down for your background fabric. But that also serves as your cut line. So that's going to show you right where to cut out your block when you're done. You can use just a plain acrylic ruler and your rotary cutter, line it up with that line and cut it out. I actually ended up, that's what I did for most of mine, but I'm going to try to go back to it. A long time ago, I bought the Kimberbell orange pop rulers. Let me go get them out. I forgot before the video. I bought these thinking I really needed them. I could say you don't really need them, but some people swear by them. So I think I was doing it wrong the first time. But what they are they come in a rectangle and a square. And they help you to line up your quilt block. If you look in the little picture. I'm trying to get it to where you can see. Where you can cut out your block perfectly. And I think the problem was I was starting at the wrong side. Someone corrected me. So I think I might have it under, I'm going to try it again and see if I like them. But other people swear by them, and then maybe some people hate them. So this is a up to you situation. If you have them already, pull them out, give them a try. But they work really well with cutting the block out, but using, I have one back here, a rotating cutting mat, so that you kind of press it and cut and then rotate it without moving the ruler or your block. So those are some optional things for you. The orange pop rulers and a rotating cutting mat. I think a rotating cutting mat is just nice to have in general with any kind of these kinds of projects. So that is on the list if you're interested to try them out, or if you already have them, pull them out. So that was orange pop rulers. And then you could also just use regular, where's my ruler? I have a wide one and a skinny one, these kind of rulers. I have a 3-inch and then I have a 6.5 inch wide one. You can use these as well because those stitch lines show you like right where to cut. So it shouldn't be a problem. So, but you are definitely going to need your rotary cutter and a cutting mat. All right, let's see. We will be doing a lot of ironing. You're going to want your iron, whatever you iron on, if you have an ironing board, or I just have the wool pressing mat that I can pull off and on my table to help save space and just pull it out when I need it. There are going to be times when I'm probably going to use my mini iron for if I do the heat and bond light on the back of the applique pieces. But all the prep work we're going to start today, I'm going to use my big iron. Let's see. Embroidery paper tape. That's like the Kimberbell tape that helps hold, different things when we start adding embellishments or different aspects of things that we need to make sure they don't move when we put the hoop back in the machine and start stitching. Some paper tape, and then applique scissors or snips, all the normal things that you're going to need for your project. Bobbin thread, and I have a stiletto I use a lot. And then there's something that I think is going to be helpful that I got a while back when I was doing the Perfectly Piece subscription, when you have the like stitch and then fold over. That's when you're going to need your mini iron to iron things into your fold over pieces in place. But someone told me about this when I was doing those projects. I think this is it here. This is a Clover fabric folding pin. It comes with a special liquid, a little bottle, and you just put a couple drops and you fill it up with water. You don't fill it up completely with the drops that came with it, like I did the first time I used it and wasted a bunch of it. It's concentrated so that it should last you a long time. But this cool little pin, when you stitch, so normally with the flip and fold method in the embroidery machine is you put it stitches a line showing you where to put your fabric. You line it up to it. you put your fabric right side down. Then it stitches another line in place. Take this pin and run that liquid along that stitch line, and then flip your fabric over. So now the right side is up and it's hiding the raw edge, and just finger press it, and it treats it just like you ironed it in place. It's really great. So it helps keep me from having to go from the machine to the iron, from the machine to the iron, and helps with the flip and fold method in the hoop go a lot quicker. So fabric folding pin, I have a link to that in my supply list if that's interesting to you or not, but not something you need, nice to have. Okay, so I think we've gotten through all the basic supplies, the more detailed, big things that you do need, and then all the little normal things that you need for pretty much just every project. So let's move on to the size blocks, what hoop size you need, and the machine that I'll be using. This project is what they would say is 5x7 friendly. So if you only have a machine that has a max embroidery field of 5x7, you can make this entire quilt. They do have some large blocks, but they've made them in a way where they've already split the design for you and made it in 2 hoopings. So if you have a PE 800, 770, 900, SE 1900, 2000, those machines that like the one that I first started doing embroidery with, you will be able to make this whole project. I would say having a 6x10 hoop is nicer because you're going to be able to combine things and go a little quicker. And that is going to be the method I personally will be using. But I will tell you everything step by step, even if you're using a 5x7 hoop. And then if you have something even larger, like my brother's Stellaire, or if you have a Luminaire, or any of the nice big flatbed machines, or even multi-needle machines that have a larger hoop, like 8x12, 9.5x14, you're going to be able to accomplish even more because you can combine blocks into one hooping. And I'll be going over how to do that in Embroiance Essentials to help make your life easier. So that's what I wanted to tell you. 5x7 is the minimum requirement. So unfortunately, our friends with only 4x4 machines, this project is not possible. And I could say that with just about every Kimberbell project that they have out there. They're all 5x7 friendly. They don't go down to 4x4. Some of the blocks are little enough to fit in 4x4, but you won't be able to complete the whole project. All right. Okay. Ooh, Monica has a tip, and I saw someone else do this, so I wondered that. Okay. So I previously have used this as a cut line, and I've cut my fabric either right outside of that line, right on that line. I've tried right inside that line, but I saw someone else where they actually, this is a basting stitch, basically. They use their seam ripper and pull all of this out before cutting it. And Monica has a reason for that. She says, if you cut on the stitch line, the fabric pulls in. So then your cut may not be just right. So thank you for that tip, because I was wondering that, because I saw it done in different ways, and I was wondering how important it would be to actually use a seam ripper and get those basting stitches out. So maybe I will use that, and then that's going to make the orange pop rulers more necessary because then you don't have really a guide to go off of unless you cut them upside down and you use your ruler to go 1/4 inch past the stitch line that's holding the batting in. So you could still do it with a regular ruler. You would have to use that as a guide and cut 1/4 inch past it. Okay, thank you, Monica. Okay, yeah, so Teresa's agreeing with her too. They rip out what shows after the stitching together. Okay, thank y'all so much. Okie dokie. All right. I lost my thought process. I need some water. Okay. We're talking about hoop sizes and machines. Okay, so with all that said, 5x7 minimum. If you have a 6x10, even better. If you have bigger than that, wonderful. My goal is to get this done as quickly as possible, so I'm not going to make every design in a 5x7 hoop. and I'm going to combine things. And so I'm going to show you my process. Most of my, and I wrote notes on my printout that I have that's free for y'all. I'm going to, I think most of my hoopings will be 6 by 10. And then a couple of them I'll just go ahead and do in the 5 by 7 hoop because I can't really combine them the way that I want. And then I have 1 or 2 of them, I think 2 of them, will be done in my largest hoop, which is the 9.5 by 14. But when I do those, I'm going to show you, we'll talk about if you had to do them 1 hoop at a time. And I think the 2 complicated ones would be the sewing machine block and the iron block. Those are ones that are made to be done in a 6 by 10 hoop, but they have a 5 by 7 option where they have 2 designs split already for you. And there are special instructions that are on the CD. They're not in the book. And you go and you print them out and it tells you step by step. So we'll get to those blocks. Oh, speaking of, this gives me a reminder, something I forgot. Well, when we start cutting fabric, that's when I was going to talk about it. I changed some of the fabric cuts based on recommendations I got from other people. And those are specific for what they're calling the filler blocks, the blocks that don't have any real embroidery design on them other than the background quilting. I got a recommendation to cut those a little bit bigger. So I have that. I just wrote it on with my pen in my book, and I will show you that. All right, let's see. We'll get to that in a second. The next thing I wanted to talk about was organizing, and then we'll start cutting stuff. And okay, we're not doing too bad. I'm not at 2 hours yet. All right, so I haven't noticed any questions. Okay, here's a question, and this is something I asked myself too. So, do we iron the SF-101 on the fabric first and then cut it out? Or do we cut the fabric and then cut the SF-101 and fuse it together? So this is a question for all of my friends here that have done this before. Because at first, I was going to just put SF-101 across the whole thing. But then when I started looking at the cuts, I'm like, this piece of fabric only has one bit. Do I really want to put Pellon SF-101 on the back of this whole piece of fabric when only this piece needs it? And so then I'm like, I don't know. I can't think. It wouldn't be bad. I could still use the fabric. It would just have extra stabilizer already on it. But if I wanted to use it for a project where that's what I was trying to think. Is there a project that I would do in the future where this would be bad to be on the back of it? Because it'd still be okay if I used it for a sewing project. It should still be okay if I used it as applique fabric for a project. So I don't know. So let me hear your thoughts. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments. If you're here live, put it in the chat, but let me know what you think, because I started and after seeing the cut lines, I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it and then cut my SF-101. I think that's going to make it take longer, but then I feel like it's less wasteful. So let's see what y'all have to say. Okay. Okay. So Retha says what she does is she will put SF-101 on just a portion of the back fabric and then cut it. Because I think what happens, and then I guess we'll see, this fabric is supposed to be bigger than what we need, right? So in my head, it should be okay if the Pellon SF-101 doesn't go all the way to the edges of the fabric. You see how you see a little bit of the teal around the edge, as long as it's close. Whereas if we fuse it to the fabric first and then cut, that Pellon is going to go all the way to the edge, so it catches it all. So I'm thinking as long as I get it close, as long as it's not a huge gap from the edge, then it should still be okay. but I like that idea. And some of the cuts we're going to make involves like cutting a piece that is 4 inches wide and maybe 10 inches tall, but then we cut that in smaller pieces. And I was thinking, you know, I'll do the big cut first, put the Pellon on that, and then do my smaller cuts, breaking that up into smaller blocks, if that makes sense. That's what I was thinking of doing. Okay, so Sherry says she lays the SF-101 on the cutting mat, then the fabric over it, and makes the cuts. I will definitely try that. Okay, Teresa says she applies it and then cuts. And then Allison does what I did with my first try, was cut the fabric and then cut the SF-101 a little bit smaller. Okay, and Sherry, who said earlier that she lays it and then lays the fabric on top, she said this way the size of the cut is right and she can iron it right away and it takes less time, so that's saving you time as well. I like this idea. Arlene asked if I will use the scan and cut. No, I do not plan on it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try Sherry's method. Sherry's method. I keep saying Sherry. I'm gonna try Sherry's method. I like my lay the Pellon, lay the fabric on top, and then do the cut. Let's see. Just watch that you keep your iron away. Exactly. That's why I was like, if I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna cut it a little bit smaller so that I make sure I don't catch any of the fusible pieces of the SF-101 going the direction of my iron plate, just to make sure, or that I get it, you know, all stuck to my mat or whatever. Okie dokie. All right. So now that we've covered a lot of that kind of stuff, let's talk about organizing and the system that I saw a lot of people use and I'm trying for the first time. And that is using some kind of folder or bag system. And that is to make a you could use a Ziploc bag if you like to save all of the nicer plastic bags that your all the stuff you order on Amazon comes in. You can use those. My friend Bethany at Bethadilly on YouTube, she bought these really cute. I think she bought it for a scrapbooking project, but it ended up working great for her fabric project. She loves Kimberbell too. Me and her have a problem together. She bought these cute little bags that just have a like the fold over with the adhesive on it, so that she made all of her stuff. And then I saw a lot of people use these. Are, I think, originally made for teachers. They're also for sports teams, but they're made to put a piece of paper in and then use a dry erase marker to draw on top. I think that is their intended purpose. But I've seen lots of YouTubers use this that have Etsy shops to do orders. Like they'll put the paper order in and then they'll put all the supplies or the shirt or the applique fabric for that order in these envelopes. And then now I've seen people doing Kimberbell projects use it. So I went ahead and bought them. I put the link to the ones I bought in that supply list on my website. Charlene's like, I have a gazillion of those. I now also have a gazillion of those. Okay, so I forget how many came in the pack, like 30 maybe. And so I'm gonna show you what I did. I got, you can use any kind of plastic container you have that will fit whatever system you end up using. So if you use Ziploc bags, I'm sure one of those little shoe plastic containers, I use those a ton in the girls with the playroom to put toys in, like all the little toys. But any kind of plastic container. I got this cute little, this is a collapsible like milk crate bin from Target and the dollar spot. It wasn't $1, it was $5. Dollar spot is deceiving. But I thought it would be great for in here to put stuff in for like current projects. And that's exactly what it ended up being used for. So I could put my envelopes in here. And I've also had like all the other stuff I've been showing you has been in here in this crate. So I can have everything in one spot. So when I'm ready to make a block, I could grab my crate, go to my machine, and start working right away. So that's the whole purpose of this setup system, is that this is going to help me be a lot more efficient. And then every week when I go live on Thursdays to make a block, I'm ready to go. I don't have to be in here an hour or two before the video getting everything ready. This is what I want to get done ahead of time. This is optional. If you are better at working, I'm going to cut this fabric and get it all ready when I'm ready to make that block, by all means, do what works best for you. I know that is going to hold me back personally. That is going to be like, oh, that's, if I can't go just do a block real quick, then I'm going to put it off. I'm going to procrastinate. I'm very good at procrastinating. So figure out what's going to work best for you. If you are like me, I highly recommend trying this. Give it a try. If you hate it, then don't, you don't have to continue with it. Or the next time you do a quilt, try a different method. Find what's going to work for you. I think this is going to work really well for me. But I've heard it's tedious and boring with all the steps we're going to do next. So we're going to do a few of them together. And then your homework is going to be, if you are doing this live with me in real time, and going to be stitching them out each week, I want you to have this done by next Thursday. So next Thursday is, I think, the 20th, March 20th. You have that done before our next class. And there will be a few classes where you're going to have homework, because I don't want, some of the blocks are exactly the same. So I figured I would spend the time live doing one of them, showing you how to do it. And then your homework would be to create, 2 more of those same exact blocks on your own. So the biggest homework is going to be this week. And that is going to be, if you're doing this envelope system, having everything cut and ready to go. Step number 1, after you get your envelopes, is you're going to label them. I used blue painter's tape so that they would peel off easily when I'm done. And then I could use them for my next project after. So I just used blue painter's tape, and I wrote on there what block it is. Some of the blocks, I think it's silly to have only one block in one folder, like the scissors one. The scissors one, literally, the only thing I'm going to put in that envelope is a piece of batting and a piece of background fabric and the little braid prong piece that goes in it. So I figured I could do 2 of those. So I have an envelope that's scissors 1 and 2. So both of those block pieces are going to go in here. And then I have one that says 3 and 4. Then I have one for Just So Happy. And you hear me saying the names of these blocks. That information is going to be on your free printable, and it's going to be in your booklet with all the designs. They have a name for each of the blocks. So if it has a design on it, it has a name. If it has multiples of the same design, it will have it scissors 1, spool 1, heart 1, and then have a 2 and a 3 and corresponding after. Then if it's a specialty block like the pin cushion, the name of it is pin cushion, or the iron or the sewing machine. And then the other type of blocks they have is what we've already talked about, the filler blocks. These are literally just batting, background fabric, and background quilting design. So I've combined those into their own envelopes. So most of the envelopes have the name. So like this one, I separated. And also, let me point out, the quilt is separated in 4 sections. If you look at it, let me find a better picture. If you look at the quilt, you see the first 2 rows with the scissors and the So Happy? That's section 1. The next, I think actually this. So you see those little skinny pieces, and then the piece with this row, and then those skinny pieces here? That's section 2. Section 3 are these 2 rows with the iron and the spools going all the way across. That's section 3. And then this is section 4. So when I say section 1 filler blocks, that's all the filler blocks in these 2 top rows. When I say section 2 filler blocks, that's all the ones that are in these, and so on. And then actually section 4 has no filler blocks. They're all named blocks. When I look at section 1 filler blocks, they're only 2 different sizes. 6 of them are 2 by 2 is the final size. And then 2 of them are 4 by 4. So when I made my envelopes, I made envelope to hold all the 2 by 2 blocks and then both 4 by 4 blocks. So you can do this in whatever way you think is going to work best. I'm just showing you what I did. And so I've already labeled all of these that either have the name of a specific block, or if I know I'm going to combine some blocks, I put everything in, I'll label it being it has, more than one thing. But I'd say most of them have just one thing in it. Just a few have extras. So with these envelopes, what we're going to do is put everything we need in it as we go through all of our supplies. So the first thing I'm going to do is start cutting my fabric, and I'm going to cut that according to pages, what is this, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in your book. 4 and 5 tell you, it shows you a little color swatch of what the fabric looks like. It tells you what size, how much of that fabric it's really how much of that fabric is in the fabric kit, but they're saying it's how much you need. I disagree with that. Like if I just need a teal fabric, I only need a piece that's 3 by 5.5 inches. I don't need a whole 6 fabric if that's something you have in your stash already. And then it tells you what block it goes to. It tells you what section of the quilt it's in. And then the last column is what is the actual cut size that you're going to cut out of that fabric. So that's the first 4 and 5 pages. And then 6 and 7 show you, if you lay out the fat 16th of fabric 1, it's showing you the most efficient way to cut out the 3 blocks. These are each 4 inches by 4 inches. So that's what each of these little picture layouts are doing, is showing you, if you lay out the fabric, how you can stack them to be the most efficient with your cutting. So this is what we're going to use heavily as a reference when preparing our fabrics. And so, for instance, here is fabric number 1. All I needed, no, this isn't fabric number 1. The cream is. This is fabric number 1. That's the one I just showed you. And you needed 3 4 by 4 blocks. These are ones I already put the Pellon SF101 on the back. And now I would refer to my book and it say, okay, so for this first solid cream fabric, one of the blocks goes in cross stitch heart number 1. One of the blocks goes in cross stitch heart number 2. And one of the blocks go in the Life is So Good folders. So I'm going to take these blocks now and go find the folders that they go to. I only have one folder for cross stitch heart since there's 2 of them. They're exactly the same. Put that in there. And then Life is So Good. Life is So Good. This one, put that in there. So we're going to do that with all the fabric. Cut it out, use your book as your reference where to put it, and put it in that folder. Once you get through all the fabric, the next bit is the batting. And that's where the printable is going to be helpful. The last page of the printable is going to show you how many, just tell you just in general, I need 13 4 by 4 blocks if I'm not doing the trimming step, or I need 13 5 by 5 blocks. So you choose what kind of method you want to use first, and then use that cutting guide. Make all your stacks of batting, and then use your book as a reference, or you can even use the printable as a reference. Okay, scissors 1, I need 4 by 4, and I just go take from my quantity stacks that I made and go put them in the envelopes. After you're done with batting, the last step is embellishment. That is also on your printable. I can see for scissors 1, I need the pink mini braid. Scissors 2, I need the yellow one. And then like some of the blocks, there's no embellishments. So I just go down this list. Filler block number 2, I need a button. And which button you want to use, that's up to you. And then like the pin cushion, I'm going to go put the flexi foam. Oh, I just noticed the embellishment kit did not come with flexi foam. It usually does. So I need flexi foam. I think I have some. Yeah, I'm glad because I never really went through the embellishment kit until today. It did not come with flexi foam. So we need to add that to our supply list. Where is flexi foam? I know I've bought it before. I don't know where it is though. Now I gotta find it. So do y'all know what that is? It's like, I've gotten it with other kits. Let me see if I could find a kit that has it. That, I can show you what it looks like. It's probably going to take me forever. But, okay. So, we need flexi foam. I'm almost positive I have some in here. But now I have a week to order it if I don't have it and have it in time for next Thursday. So, I will try to remember to add that to the supply list. So, if you also don't have it in your craft room, you can order it on Amazon real quick. Flexi foam. Pin cushion block needs that. It needs the pins that came in the embellishment kit, the little strawberry wool, the velvet, and some of the floss. So I would go and grab all those things and put them in the envelope. I would say that's the only things you need to go put in your envelope is your background fabric, your batting, embellishments. And when I say embellishments, I'm also including applique fabrics. So for the pin cushion, if I look at it, so some of the applique bits are velvet, which I have, but the other applique built pieces are that red fabric that is not zooming in good to see. But you see that brighter red fabric? I'm also going to be putting that in my envelope. And you will see that when you go through your fabric list because it's going to tell you this red fabric is here, the bright red one. It says pin cushion on it. So even though that's not the background fabric, that's the fabric for the applique. So you'll know that will already be in your envelope if you're using this as your reference guide of what fabric goes into what envelope. Okay, I know that's a lot, but I really think it's going to help. I really do. Okay. So let me look through the things. Arva says, when you bought the Kimberbell bundle, did they email you the background designs? I need to find mine. Those were the ones that were the digital download. So when you buy from the Kimberbell website, you have to make yourself a Kimberbell account, which I already had, of course. But if this is your first time, you go make yourself, put your email, make yourself a password. So that is your Kimberbell account. Once you have it, you have the digital library, I think they call it. You'll see it in the menu at the top of the screen. Anything you buy from them, from their website, when you're logged, you have to be logged in to buy anything that is digital, it's going to go into your digital library. So after I purchased that whole bundle thing that I saw I had designs in my digital library. I thought it was all of it, but no, it was just the background quilting design. So that's where you're going to find it. Log into your Kimberbell account and go to your digital library, and you should see Oh So Delightful background quilting. Okay, so that was a question. Okay, Retha says she bought the plastic folders and then took the binding off of one of the sides, and it's now so much easier to slip and cut the fabric in. The rest of the folder stays intact. Thank you for that tip. I might try that out because yes, it was a bit cumbersome trying. Oops, that's my microphone. Trying to put the bigger pieces of fabric in there, like when I was just organizing the bits that I cut already. I like that idea. So she just cut this one side open so then you can use it as a folder this way. Thank you. I might try that out. All right. Oh, okay. Michelle saw it. So this was on my stories. You see it? Yeah, I found a spot for it. Target dollar spot. So every Tuesday when my daughter, my older daughter is dancing, her best friend is in class with her, and her best friend's mom is also my best friend. Just a bunch of best friends. Her and I, we carpool. So we go to dancing, drop the girls off at dancing, and then her and I we have a couple hours to kill while the girls are at dancing, and we usually go to Target. So every Tuesday, I'm almost every Tuesday, I'm either at Home Goods or Target. It's becoming a problem, but it's not. It's okay. Dollar Spot. These plastic acrylic clear containers were there this past Tuesday when I went, and I was like, ooh, there's so many things that I could put in here. But when I looked at it, I'm like, these would probably fit fat quarters really well. So again, not $1. They were $5, but that's still cheap, I think, for these kind of containers. But I bought 4 of them, and then I got home and I was like, oh yeah, they fit my little fat quarter bundles really nicely. And then this way they're out and I see them, because I have a fabric organization system that I probably need to clean up, but it's by color. And a lot of these fat quarter bundles are like a variety of colors, and I want to keep them together. So I thought that would be a good way to keep them together, but still see them and remind myself that I have this pretty fabric that I need to use, that I think would be perfect for like little mini quilts and stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of the fat quarter bundles and fat quarters that I've got are from my quilt shop that's now closed. All Stitched Up by Angela. She was one of my favorites. She was local to Southern Louisiana, and she closed last year. Sad. So I need a new source if anyone has one for me. Okay. All right. Lori says, where can I get the embellishment kit again? I have links for it on the website, and it's also, I think, I don't know if I have it in the YouTube description, but on my website, on the Oh So Delightful post, you can buy it directly from Kimberbell. You can buy it on Amazon, and I think Sewing Machines Plus may have it. I would call them and make sure they have it in stock. I think it says call for details on that, but double check and make sure they have it. But I know it's on Kimberbell and it's on Amazon. And if you have a local quilt shop that has Kimberbell products, you can check. And then Etsy has tons of quilt shops on there that sells all this stuff. Sandy asks about the plastic folders. Got those on Amazon. The link is on the same page, though. So Delightful post on my website. Some of the fabrics are used in the other small projects. Yes, but the kit that the fabric kit I bought came with extra fabric for each project. So you might be able to make the bonus projects without buying the extra fabric kits for the bonus projects. We'll see when we're done how much fabric I have left over, and then maybe I'll save those pieces for something else. So you might get away with not needing to buy. If you want to make the bonus projects too in the same fabrics, you may have enough to make some of them, I would expect, but we'll see. She's asking, Teresa, is that, I'm guessing, basil work? I don't know. Tell me what that means. Where do you find... Okay. Retha says, where do we find where you cut the fabric bigger than the instructions? Oh, I forgot to. So are you talking about for the filler blocks, Retha? That's what I want to show you, where I made notes. So a couple things. Let me show you a couple things. Okay. I have a couple papers here. All right. One suggestion that I got, and so I want y'all to go do this in y'all's books too, because I just wrote it in my book. Let's switch this. All right. So I don't know if there's 2 ways, I think, depending on what her question's really asking. So we talked about the bonus projects and the extra fabric. The cut instructions in the book here are the cut instructions for the quilt alone, not the bonus projects. However, on the CD, there's extra instructions. There's several extra instructions. One of them is the cut instructions for the entire quilt and all the bonus projects. So it looks slightly different. So it has the fabric name and how they label it as F whatever. The color chip of the fabric, the size that you need overall, and then which of the cut sizes and where they're going to go. But they have a acronym system. And if you look up here, if it has SH, that's so happy. That's the quilt itself. If it has QPF, that's the quilted picture frames bonus project. If it has ROE, that's the running on empty let's see, what is running on empty? Let's play with scissors. I don't know. Oh, this one. I think that's the thread. That's this mini quilt, if it says running on empty. Bamboo hoops. That's the little hoop bonus ones. SIMS, sewing is my sunshine. That's this mini quilt. PC is pin cushion. They actually have 3-dimensional pin cushions. I'm interested to try that. And then playing with scissors is this mini quilt. So in front of each place where it's going to tell you what that piece of fabric is for, it has an acronym to tell you what project it goes with first, then what block within that project, whether it's a filler block, the back of something, the back fabric, tells you what piece that goes to, and then the actual cut size. So that is printable off the CD. It has all the fabrics, and then it also has the layout of, when you spread that fabric out, how to most efficiently do your cut sizes. Okay, so that leads me to the suggestion that I got, that we should cut anything that is a filler block piece bigger than what it is suggesting in the book. So, for instance, I just scroll down here until I get to something that says filler block. So fabric number 6, which is the floral fabric with a white background, they have 2 pieces cut from that. One is filler block number 12, one is filler block number 16, and it tells you the cuts: 2.5 by 2.5, 6.5 by 4.5. So what I did was I went and found that fabric number 6 on here, and it's right here. So what I did was I circled it, and that is telling me when I go to actually cut this, I'm going to cut these blocks, I think, an inch bigger. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll do 3.5 or a 1/2 inch bigger, maybe just a 1/2 inch. I just want to give myself a little bit bigger, because from my understanding, when we go to do these are going to fit in perfectly, like I'm making the batting fit in, which maybe shouldn't be a problem, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to play with it. But I was told I should cut these bigger. So when I get to those blocks, that's my notation. But that's both of these blocks on this one piece of fabric need to be cut bigger. But see, like this one, F9, I circled it, but I only put a star on this bigger piece, and that's telling me just this piece needs to be cut bigger. And so anything that's circled, if it has a star like F11, only that piece needs to be cut bigger. So I just went and wrote notes myself. And then like this one piece of red, don't put any shape flex on the back of that piece, because that is this little fold over 3D piece on the sewing machine. They say it hangs nicer if you don't put shape flex on the back. So that is something that you may want to also go do. So like I said, I just went down this list, and if it said filler block, fabric 7, I went and found fabric 7 on here. Here it is. I circled it or put a star, whatever it is, telling me that I need to cut that block bigger. And that is only the filler blocks. Okay. Sorry if I missed a bunch of comments. Marina says, is the flex foam something we get at Hobby Lobby in the craft section? I'm pretty sure. I wish I could find some so I could show you what it looks like. It's pretty much just a thin piece of foam. It's like a sheet. Okay, Sherry had a tip. When you lay your SF down, make sure the back side is facing up and the fabric is facing down. So it makes that sandwich. You want the wrong side of fabric touching the adhesive side of the shape flex. Yes, that makes sense. Thanks, Sherry. Maureen says she's never used Flexi Foam. What thickness do I recommend? I want to say it's probably less than 1/4 inch thick. Just guessing. Okay, yeah, Retha was talking about the filler blocks with the size. Okay. So Allison said sewing is my sunshine. It's going to be my next project. So I really want to make all of these. So we're going to see how long this sew along takes. And if everybody's on board, when we're done with the big quilt, we'll move on to the smaller quilt. This one is super, I love the mini quilts. Like I definitely want to make these 3. And I'm very interested to see how we do the pin cushion. That's going to be fun because that looks, to me, that looks hard. But I'm sure it's not as hard as it looks. But I definitely want to make these 3 mini quilts. The frames are like, I'll make them, but these are the ones I'm most excited about. Okay. Ooh, yes. Allison brings out a good point. When you are looking at your fabric guide here, your cutting guide, it says on here, they have notes like right here, directional fabric. So on this pink one, pay attention to the direction your fabric. It's showing you in the picture how it should look. And so you'll see that here, directional fabric. Directional fabric. So pay attention to when you're laying that fabric out to cut it, that you have the pattern going in the same direction as the picture in your cutting guide. Charlene says the newer patterns give you bigger sizes for the filler blocks now. So I think it is best that we cut them bigger. My question is how much bigger? Does a 1/2 inch, I think, should be enough? That would give us a quarter, maybe an inch. We should add an inch because that'll give me more wiggle room with it. Yeah, I think I'll do that because I have extra. And then, yeah, Teresa says there's plenty of fabric left over to trim to size afterwards. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yes. Thank you. Coulter Polly says that, yes, do a 1/2 inch all the way around. That's what we're going to add to our filler block. So let's cut a block that has a filler block in it so we can do that together. All right, so I already cut 1 through 4, 5, 6 is filler blocks. So let's go ahead. I'm going to cut fabric 6 on here. So I'm going to have this open. This is actually, nope, this one. This is fabric 6. I have all my fabric in order too. So like, it came that way in the package nicely enough. So if yours didn't come that way, I highly recommend using your guide and putting your fabric in order. The only thing that's, this is all of the fat 16ths. I don't have the scraps and the fat 8s fit in between them. I figured I would just pull those out as they go, but everything's in order by their size right now. So all the first 4 fabrics were fat 16, so they were all layered right on top of each other. I did the first 4. This is F5. This is F6. This is F7. That's a scrap, so I could put that in there like that if I wanted to keep it in order. That's 7. Also 8. This is F8. F9. F10 is actually a bigger piece of fabric. It's this red one. So if you want to put all your fabric in order or just leave it in order by size, whatever works best for you. Let's go ahead and cut both of these. Let's do these live and then the rest will be homework. So this one is F5. This only has one piece cut out of it and it's used for the sewing machine block. This is F6 and it is used for 2 filler blocks. So that is where I'm going to change the size on these and we'll do it with the SF101. So I'm going to stack all this to the side. My craft table is becoming very, very crowded at the moment. I have way too much stuff. So have your book open. If you need your printable open, have everything where you can see it and refer to it. All right, then I'm going to need my rulers, my shape flex. Let me put all of my embellishments back in my box. And this is where your little bin is going to come in handy because when you start making a mess on your table like I am, and you just need to get the stuff out of the way that you're not using right now, throw it in the bin. So at least it's all, you're not going to lose it. At least you should. We're still going to lose it. But if it's in the bin, it'll be a little bit less likely to get lost. Okay. So we're going to try Sherry's method of laying this out. So I'm going to lay this rough side up. I have a little bar stool next to my table. I'm going to rest it on there and just have this draped over. Let me undo a little bit more. That way I can move it as I need to and it won't fall on the ground. Okay, that's my shape flex. Rough side up. You're going to feel it. This feels like normal cotton woven. This is, you can feel it. It's bumpy. It's rough. Okay, F5. This is F5. I'm now going to go turn the page to the actual cutting bit. And I could see my picture. And it's not directional. So we can do however we want. And they have, the size is 5.5 by 7.5. So I'm just going to lay this on top of my shape flex like so, right side up. And then I can use this to go 5.5. That's 5.5 wide. And then I'll go back and cut it. Wait, if I do it this way, I can do both cuts with one go. I still haven't mastered like the most efficient way of cutting. 5.5. So y'all would probably, some of y'all probably are super quick at this. I'm going to be like so nitpicky. It's a problem. Okay, so I'm looking at this. No, I'm still not right. Let me do it the way I had it before, just so I make sure I do things right. 5.5. Because this ruler is 6.5 wide, and sometimes I get confused on where the extra ½ inch is. It's over here. Okay, 5.5, and then I'm gonna go to 7.5. So we'll start there. And I can't do it with this ruler. Earlier when I was cutting them, I had them right in the spot where I could go do. This is how I should have it. so then I can make 2 cuts without moving my ruler. And I'm sure we don't have to be so precise like I am trying to be. That's another problem I have. I want things to be like cut perfectly and measured perfectly when I probably don't need it to be. All right, so that is block F6, and that is ready to fuse. So I'm going to put it over here to the side. This is scraps. I could put this in. You can make yourself a scrap pile if you want. All right, now this is, that was F5. This is F6. And this is the one that both of them are filler blocks. So one is 4.5 by 6.5. And the other one is 2.5 by 2.5. So I'm going to change this to 7 by 5 and 3 by 3. Let's see. And if you don't want to, I see some people saying they make copies and stuff. If you don't want to write in your book, and you'd rather just have some printed out, the whole book is in PDF form on the CD. And if you just want to go print certain pages out of it to scratch, you know, make notes all over, you can do that. All right, so I am going 7 inches this way and 5 this way. Let me do this way so I do it right. Seven. That's right. And then 5. All right. So I think I have this right this time, so I'll cut it right. And then I cut on my first couple, I cut some things wrong, but luckily you had extra fabric so that I could correct my mistake. And then because the shape flex fits here, I just got to cut that. This piece is a filler block that's ready. So you see, I'm going slow. I did faster when I wasn't on camera. All right, and now this one's going to be 3 by 3. Sorry about that. Stay. 3, 3. I still have trouble with having things cut through completely. Okay. That was painful. All right, so I got fabrics. What is this? 5 and 6 cut. And now I would warm my iron up, take out my pad, and I would do this side first in case you did cut the shape flex a little too much so that it doesn't get on the iron on accident. And then if you want to turn it around and do it after, double check you don't see it, or you could even use like a piece of parchment paper to protect iron. Something that they sold that all stitched up by Angela that I never bought and I wish I would have was a iron protector. Like it was a Teflon sleeve that like stayed on your iron all the time, and it had a little drawstring to cinch it to make sure it fit good, but it stayed on your iron all the time and it protected it from stuff like this. I need to find it and probably invest in one. Okay, let me check the comments while that is warming up. Okay, I see people making the bigger size. Retha likes to make copies of the cutting instructions so she can mark them up. Did you get the scrap fabric pre-cut in your kit? So the kit comes with either pre-cut pieces of what they call a scrap. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yes, it's a 5x5 block. Those 4 pieces came in the fabric kit. Yes. And then everything else is either a fat 16th, fat 1/8, 1 fat quarter, one's like a 1/4 yard, a 1/3 of a yard, and 7/8 of a yard. All right. Do we flip the fabric over? Yeah. So Arlene is saying she doesn't have the same fabric and she did buy the fabric kit. You have to show me what you have, Arlene. Post. Oh, something else I wanted to tell y'all. So where we're going to have like headquarters for this sew along, and that's going to be like where I'll post things. I will, send reminders. And then if you want to post a picture of your box of envelopes with all your pre-cut stuff when you're ready, or you want to post a picture of the block that we do next week when you're finished, is going to be my general Facebook group. And you can find that. Did I put a link for it? And I'll make sure to add a link. They have it in the description box below. I'm almost positive on YouTube. And then I will make sure to add a link on my website to it. But let me see. So here's my website. This is for the free kit. No, I don't have a link. I need to put a link to my Facebook group. Let's see if you could see it here. If you go to Carly Bell, here's my Facebook page. Oh, it won't work. Here's my Facebook. I think if you go to my Facebook page, see, this is because I'm signed in, but if you go here, it should say join group in a button. But the name of it is the Carly Bell Beginner Machine Embroidery and Silhouette Craft Group. So this is going to be our headquarters. So when you're done, that's why I posted this. If you're done making your block or whatever we're doing that week, I want you to come post pictures in here. And this can also be the spot where you ask questions about the sew along before our next video. Anything like that. This is going to be our headquarters for the sew along. And I had an idea. I wrote it here. If you make, because this is like everybody with anything to do with embroidery. If you make a post that has to do with the sew along, I thought it would be fun and then also helpful if we add this hashtag. So I did hashtag OSD, that stands for Oh So Delightful Quilt. So anytime you make a post, write that at the end of your post or the beginning of your post, whatever you want to do, so that later on, if we're searching for something that has to do with the sew along, we can go to this search button and type hashtag OSDQUILT, enter, and it will show you any post that has to do with the sew along. See, and the only post so far is a little video I posted. So you'll see anything about the sew along here. So if you post in the Facebook group, use that hashtag OSD quilt, and then we can easily find those things in the Facebook group when you're looking for, like, you want to see all the things people posted about the quilt. It'll be helpful for me too to go see quilt specific posts. All right. Okay, but Arlene, that's what I was getting to. Go post a picture of the fabric you have in the Facebook group. Put that little hashtag so I can see what you got. Because I'm interested why it's not the same. It should be. Marina says to help with the Pellon SF101, she puts a Teflon sheet down on her wool mat. Oh, Sherry, so that was the little scrap fabrics. You didn't get that in your kit. Now, go through every piece of fabric. They might be hiding in between some bigger pieces. So go check that. And if you, don't find it, contact the shop that you bought it from. Because I think they're making all these things. They don't come, because I think this is an older quilt. And so they're not really manufacturing these kits already with the cute little box and everything. Like the Halloween quilt, I think, is in the other room. It came in a cute Kimberbell cardboard box where you opened it and had everything. I don't think they make those anymore for this one. So what this quilt shop is doing is they have bolts of all these fabrics, and they are going and making all the pre-cut pieces and putting the kit together for you, and it just gets shipped in a vacuum sealed bag. So people make mistakes. If it's missing from it, I'm sure they'll correct it. Retha, so the Facebook group, yes, that's on Facebook. I still will send out emails to anyone that is interested in the quilt, that downloaded the free printable. That's going to put you on the email list for the quilt. I'll still email doing that, and then you can always reply to emails and write me back if you are not a Facebook person and you want to show me a picture of the block you made, or if you have a question, any of those things. You can always use email if you're not a Facebook person. Totally understand that. All right, so I think my iron is warm. So I got, with a couple of them I caught the corners, and I got to be careful on how I rub my iron on things. I don't know if something's catching in one of these little pieces. This isn't even hot yet. Why are you not hot? My iron is very old, but it automatically shuts off. So I could leave it plugged in, which I was ironing things before the video, and so it shut off. But if you pick it up and you move it, it comes back on. But apparently I didn't move it enough when I did it a few minutes ago. I keep saying I'm gonna get one of those Oliso irons that has a little automatic lift on it and pops up, but I still haven't got one. I want it. I don't need it, but I want it. I like the little mini one too. Super cute. And then Tula Pink came out with her own version, like her own design of one. I really want that one. I don't even know if they sell those anymore. I think I remember them showing that at Houston Quilt Market last year when I was watching it. Yeah, this is like sticking to my mat a little bit, probably because the cuts are a little bit bigger. So yeah, so this would be good to put the Teflon underneath when you're doing this way. And then put the Teflon. These are some sheets I got with my heat press. They're not the normal Teflon though, I think. They're almost like butcher paper feeling, but I use them on my heat press with up to 400 something degrees, so I know they work. So you can buy Teflon sheets on Amazon too. You can also use parchment paper, which you can get from Walmart in like the section where they sell aluminum foil and plastic wrap. You can get a roll of parchment paper. That also works well for those types of things. See, I caught that little corner. That should be fine. Okay, so now I will go back to my book and where am I? This is section 4. No, sewing machine block. So now I'm gonna go find my sewing machine envelope and throw it in there. Yeah, see what she's saying. If we rip the sides, things will go in a lot better. And then these two are filler blocks, 12 and 18. 12 is in section 2, which 12 is the smaller one. So this is a section 2 filler block. This is a section 3 filler block, and I have envelopes for those. So I'm going to put those in there. All right, so your homework. And this is probably going to take me until next Thursday to go, which is as slow as I am going, is to finish all this. Okay, section 2 fillers, 2 blocks. That's that one. Okay, so your homework is to finish all of this. We don't want to do this live. This is literally probably going to take, with as slow as I am, this is going to take me forever. I'm going to try to get better at cutting and using. That's one thing I've never been good at is using these rulers. When I first started, the only time I used the rulers was just to get a straight edge. I used my cutting mat, and I made sure I laid my fabric perfectly lined up on my cutting mat, and then used the lines on the cutting mat to line my edge of my ruler up with and did my cuts. And then I saw people use the clear rulers and use the lines within the rulers to like figure out where then I don't have to have it laid on my mat perfectly. As long as the ruler is laid on the fabric and lined up, I could do cuts. So this is, I still don't feel like I'm efficient and I'm good at it, but I'm a practice. I will get a lot of practice this week and get better at it. So if you are fast at cutting fabric, please tell me your tips. If you are slow like me, we're going to put a movie on is what we're going to do. We're going to either put a movie, or we're going to put a podcast, or we're going to put an audiobook, or put on our favorite YouTuber and just listen and watch old videos and listen as we're cutting fabric. We're going to make the most of this. We're going to have some downtime. It's going to be fine. And then when we're done cutting all our fabric, we're going to cut the batting. Remember, this is up to you if you want to cut it to size or cut it a smidge bigger so that you trim it. Make that choice before you start cutting. And then you're going to go add your batting pieces to your envelopes. And then lastly, go add your embellishment pieces to your envelope. All right, that's your homework for this week. This is the most homework you'll receive for the whole, I feel like a professor right now. Or a teacher, like, do your homework. So, okay, wait, I'm seeing some things. All right. I think this quilt came out at least a year ago. Yes, I think so. Okay, Retha's saying she's not on Facebook. You don't need to be on Facebook to participate. So you have YouTube, you could come watch them. You go download the free printable and you'll get emails from me. So that's all you need. All right. Yay. Faith says she always enjoys watching my projects. Patty's like, I'm not participating, but I'm going to follow along. That is definitely what I want you to do, because I'm the type of person that I would want to watch this whole thing before I dive into it. So by all means, do that. And then if this goes as well as I'm hoping it will, we'll do another one after. And I have everything for the Halloween quilt. It's called Candy Corn Quilt Shop. It's super cute. I got that deal where it came with all the designs, the background quilting, the embellishment kit, and it came with batting. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on the daily deals at Kimberbell to see if that goes on sale again by the summer. And then we can do that and then actually have it done for Halloween. That would be nice. If not, but I have the spring shower stuff. I don't have the fabric kit for that, but maybe this process will help me get better at actually picking out the fabric for each of those blocks and prepping them ahead of time. I think that's what really helped me back with that other project. And go forward, see how it goes and how much y'all like this. But I know these are things that I want to do, and I think this is going to inspire me and help me to actually get them done. So I hope it does the same for you. Marina says she's a slowpoke too. She is challenged with rulers and cutting. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm a slowpoke at everything. Let's see. Okay, Retha, give us your tips. She says, after I take the right side piece of binding off the plastic. Oh, we're talking about this. Okay, I thought you were going to tell me some cutting tips. Okay, after she does the right side piece of binding off, you can use a 3-hole punch and make a binder even nicer. Love that idea. Okay. Oh, she likes to watch Friends reruns. That's what she's going to be doing while she's cutting. Allison says she is slow because she lacks confidence. I am probably the same way. But this is what we need to get over in our head, because if we cut this, I think the cut sizes that they give us are generous. And you're going to see when you go and you place your background fabric on your placement line, it's going to be, I would say, at least a 1/2 inch bigger than what you need. So if you are off, it's not going to be the end of the world. Also, like when I was cutting these little strips, these are 1.5 inches by 6. And I think the instructions had it to where I was cutting like 8 inches of material and then doing the strips. It was a block. It started off as a block, and then I cut it in 3 strips. But one side of the block was longer than the other, and I had it turned in the wrong direction when I was cutting my strips, and then I cut 2, and then the last one was smaller. I'm like, why is it smaller? Because I had it the wrong direction. But it's okay, because we got extra fabric. So just press on. Don't let it bother you. We're all going to make little mistakes like that, and you have extra fabric if you got the kit. If you're using fabric from home, I'm sure you have enough to do extra cuts if you mess up like I did. But I think the more we do this, then I think it's going to help us become more confident. I'm really hoping after I cut 40 pieces of fabric and a whole bunch of different cuts that I feel more confident. Okay. All right, Teresa says she can't watch live next week, but she will be back. So that's the great thing about this series, is it's all recorded so that you can go back and watch the replays whenever you want. They're all going to be on YouTube. Now, Facebook changed its policy where it is deleting live videos after 30 days. But I put all my videos on YouTube as well. So if it disappears off of Facebook, you can go to YouTube and watch it. And then my website will have all of that as well. Okay. Ooh, Teresa's warning us. The candy corn quilt shop is more complicated. So thank you for the warning. But I think hopefully this is a good beginner one to jump into. So that's going to prepare us so that we can tackle that candy corn one. But I'm sure once we break it down and we do it, block by block, it's not going to be bad. Ooh, Teresa, she says she has the nativity pillow on my queue next. You know what I've always wanted? I've been like eyeing up since I learned Kimberbell is the candy cane something, the bench pillow. That is the cutest thing. I really want to do that one. I never bought that one. So if that one goes on sale soon, I'm going to buy. There's so many we want to do. So we'll get them done one at a time. Knock one thing off at a time. I'm sorry if y'all hear my dog crying. He's special, but I'm about to go get him so he will stop crying. All right. What was the chart called? Are you talking about this, the free printable, or the chart in the book? So free printable on the website, you can go download it. It will get emailed to you, and then you download it. This you can print out and write your notes on. Oh, some things like I wanted to tell you. So in the next class, this is what we're gonna do. Ozzy, he is mad right now because he's too scared to walk down the stairs. All right, here is the chart. Now I wrote my notes on here. Next week, my goal is to complete, I think we're going to go ahead and do 2 scissor blocks, scissors 1 and 2, and we're going to do So Happy. What I'm going to do, and this is my choice to use bigger hoops, I can combine 2 scissor blocks and 1 6x10 hoop. So then after class is over, I'm going to do the other 2 scissor blocks in a 6x10. So this will be your homework next week, much less. And we'll do this one in class. This will be in a 5x7 hoop. So that is my goal for next week. Then The week after that. So that is all of the regular blocks in section 1. All that's left in section 1 is filler blocks. So what I did was I looked at all the filler blocks for section 2. There are 6 of them that are 2 by 2, and there are 2 of them that are 4 by 4. I can fit all 6 2 by 2 blocks in a 6 by 10 hoop. Blocks in a 6 by 10 hoop. So this will essentially be 2 hoopings, and we're going to get all those filler block done. If you only have a 5 by 7 hoop, you can do 2 2 by 2 blocks in a hoop, 1 4 by 4 block in a hoop. So you'll just have more hoopings. You can get all this done on what we're going to call week 3, and not have any homework. So then my next question is, that is the end of section 1. This is a continuation of the filler blocks. My next question would be, do y'all want to take the approach of, once we're done with section 1, do we want to go ahead and go to our sewing machine and piece all those together and have just that strip, those 2 rows done, and then move on to section 2? Or do we just want to make everything and piece it all together at the end? So that's what I was thinking of doing it section at a time, so we can see how much time we have after creating all those filler blocks on what we're going to call week 3. And if it's not too long, I could go ahead and piece all that together live right after we're done with the filler blocks. So then we'll have this whole section done. That's how I've seen a lot of people do it. I think that kind of helps keep things rolling and also keep you from getting overwhelmed from having all of these blocks and then figuring out where they go. You could also keep all your section 1 blocks, or all of these in an envelope, in one of your clear envelopes. Have row 1, row 2, row 3. You can do that as well to help keep you organized if you want to wait and piece it all at the end. Okay. Oh, Lori said she made the candy cane pillow. Yay, I want to make it. Okay, so Shannon's going to follow along. She was going to buy this one, but she already has a Designs by Juju sewing quilt, so she's going to make that and just follow along for motivation. That sounds awesome. I want to see pictures of that. Okay. Fit trim time in too. Oh, right. So after we're done making the blocks, we need to make sure we have time to trim everything, right? Especially now, since we're going to use a seam ripper and take all that basting stitch out that y'all recommended. This says she likes a section at a time, so we can see the progression and admire the work accomplished. I love that. Yeah, and Maureen has the same thing. She likes it finishing 1 row at a time. Okay, so we're going to do that. I like that idea. I think for me, that's going to help keep me from getting overwhelmed as well. Like, okay, this is going to give me motivation to move on to the next section. So I like that as well. I think I'm finally done. Talked about a lot of things. So the main things I want you to take away is, if you haven't already gathered your supplies, go to my website. It's linked in the description on both Facebook and YouTube. Brings you directly to the page on my website that tells you everything about this project and has all of the supplies listed, and a lot of the information that I told you about today, including the thread colors, the envelopes, the hoop we're using for a lot of it, and the printable download. You can sign up for it on that website. So that's going to be your go-to resource. And then I'm going to make another post to go along with it. And I need to add the information of the websites that I use to convert colors for the thread. I'll put all of that. I might go ahead and just add that to the page that's already there. Just give you more information under the thread section and tell you the actual name of the glide color threads, and then a website that I use to convert it to, like, you had options of converting it to a ton of different brands. So if you have a whole collection of Floriani or Robinson Anton or Brother Pace Setter, it will tell you the the converted color to go to if you just want to use your own thread collection. That's all, folks. I'm going to turn off my camera now and turn on my TV, and I'm going to start cutting a lot of things. But that's it for today. If you're free tomorrow, I'm going to be going live again. I'm doing a really fun project with my friend Melissa at Designs by Little Bee. She came out with this super cute in the hoop zippered ID bag. And I love it because the front of the bag is that clear vinyl. So you can put your license, student ID, college ID, work ID, whatever you want in here. So it can be seen, but then it has a pocket. So then you could put all the stuff you don't want to be seen behind it, and you can clasp it to a lanyard or your work bag or whatever the case may be. So this is perfect. Elise really needs this. Her poor ID holder that she's been using is so old and so raggedy. I was like, I needed this in my life right now. So I think this is going to be great for her to put her school. So she has to wear it at all times at school. And then this is so much better than the little clear things that they give the kids, because the plastic, it's got like a hole cut out in it, and it always ends up ripping with the key ring or whatever you put in it. So this is going to hold up a lot better for her. We're going to have a live tomorrow showing you how to make this step by step, and we will finish it that day. It's not going to take us weeks like this quilt's going to do. So it's going to be a nice, fun project. You'll have it done in probably an hour or so. And that's just because I talk a lot. But it's going to be fun. Melissa is actually going to join me live. This will be the first time that I do a live where I have a guest, and you will be able to see her and hear her and talk to her, just like me. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And another cool thing, one of the reasons why we did this is she has tons of materials in her craft room. So she went ahead and made kits for these little bags. So you can go to her website, Designs by Little Bee, and you can go buy a kit to make this bag. She has tons of different fabric options. So it's going to come with everything you need besides stabilizer. It's going to come with the fabric for all the pieces, and that's when you scroll through and you find what you like. It's going to come with the zipper pull, a piece of fabric for this little strap bit, and a lobster clasp hook bit for this part. So it comes with what we call the hardware and the material. So if you don't have all these things in your craft room and you don't want to go out and buy it, you can just go buy the little kit. And she has options to get the kit and the design together, or just the kit. And then they have different options for zippers. They have a smaller zipper, it's called a size 3, or you get a wider zipper as a size 5. So just make sure you buy the kit for the one that you want to get, because they have the size zipper option and they have zipper placement. This is the top one, and they have one where the zipper is a little bit lower right here, and that's called the mid zip. So just scroll through it, pick which one you want, and you can order that. The live will be tomorrow, but then it will be recorded so that if you don't get your kit in the mail till next week, you can go back and watch the recording to be able to watch and put it together. And then next week, where is it at? We have our usual sip and stitch. I don't know where it is. Here it is. My normal monthly sip and stitch on YouTube. And this is this month's project. We're going to be making a baby burp cloth, and we're going to make it from scratch. So I found this at Walmart. It's called diaper cloth, and it's got like a texture to it. And I guess it's what people use to make burp cloths or baby real diapers with. So it was really cheap too. And I got a pack of it that was like 2 yards. So I cut the pieces, and then I embroidered it. And then I sewed it together with a cute little piece of flannel at the bottom. So now the embroidery is not on the back, it's sewn on the inside. So that's what's nice about this, is that we can make a burp cloth where the embroidery won't be visible and scratchy on the back. So this is what we're going to go over making next Friday in Sip and Stitch. So if you're on my email list, I should be sending out an email probably tomorrow morning. And then you'll see more info on this on there. That is all. I'm going. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I know this was a long show. Hopefully the rest of them will be shorter, but I just wanted to make sure I covered all my bases. I'm so excited about doing this project. Thank y'all for participating with me, and we're gonna virtually hold our hands and help each other out and motivate each other. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, that is all for today. Oh, Shannon has something. I saw this early and I forgot to mention it. Okay, tell me about this. She says she uses water-soluble thread in the top thread, and you won't have to use a seam ripper to get it out. You can just use a wet. Oh, I didn't know they made water-soluble thread. So this is for the blocks, right? So instead of using my regular thread here, I'm going to buy water-soluble thread, and I'll just wet this, and I won't have to use a seam ripper to get it out. Is that what you're saying, Shannon? I love this idea. Where do you get water-soluble thread? Is that something on Amazon? But you have like a brand or something? Give us some tips. But yay, I'm excited about that. Yeah, because I didn't like the idea. That's going to me, that's like, ugh. Okay. So I will wait and see where Shannon says she gets it from or what brand she uses. Hoop Sisters has some. Okay, I'm going to look up Hoop Sisters after this live is over. And when I find it, I'll add the link to the supply list on the main page. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm super excited. And I will see y'all maybe tomorrow. Definitely next Thursday for our week 2 of the sew along, where we actually start stitching something. And then next Friday is Sip and Stitch, where we're going to make the baby bird cloth. So, all right, see you guys next time. Bye.